In 2001, a group of scientists, Nicholas Carlisle, Margaret Humphrey, David Prudell, and Stephen Fallenberg, and local ranger Dean Hiscox, set out to answer the question. They climbed the rock and found droppings near a tea tree bush that could have been left by the insect, but didn't find the nocturnal insects themselves. That group returned to the base camp. Margaret, you're the bug expert. What are these? Later that morning, Nicholas and Dean made the hard climb back up to the tea tree bush. This tower of rock feels like such an ancient place. When they reached the bush, Nicholas and Dean found a wonderful sight. They took photos and returned to the base camp. This is the most startling thing I've ever seen. I'm getting chills all over. This is like a dream come true. We'll have to make a plan to return soon. An astonishing discovery. Over the following days, the team found that the entire population of Lord Howe Island stick insects, just 24 of them, depended on that one bush for survival. How did the insects get from Lord Howe Island to Ball's Pyramid? No one knew for sure. Maybe a female full of eggs hitchhiked on the back of a seabird. Perhaps a mating pair rode a piece of driftwood during a storm. The scientists knew that if anything happened to that tea tree bush, the Lord Howe Island stick insect might not be so lucky again. They were determined to save those last few survivors. The scientists returned to Australia and started making plans. They hoped to breed the insects and raise their offspring in a safe place. It wouldn't be easy because no one knew how to care for Lord Howe Island stick insects in captivity. Valentine's Day 2003. The scientists returned to Ball's Pyramid 2 years later. They found that there had been a big rock slide, but the hardy insects had survived. Carefully, the scientists collected 2 males and 2 females, all the Australian government would allow them to take. The scientists sent one mating pair to an insect breeder in Sydney, Australia. They died within 2 weeks. The other pair, named Adam and Eve, went to the Melbourne Zoo, also in Australia. All seemed well, but soon Eve became very sick. Patrick Honan, Eve's caretaker, was desperate to save her and stayed up with her every night for a month. Finally, Patrick had an idea. He created a mixture of nutrients and gave it to Eve drop by drop. Within a couple of hours, Eve was up and walking around. She recovered and laid more eggs. Patrick's heroic efforts may have saved an entire species. It worked! A second chance. On September 7, 2003, that's Threatened Species Day in Australia, one of Eve's eggs began to stir to life. The caretakers named Eve's first offspring, born in the breeding program Yara, the local Aboriginal word for stick. When fully grown, Yara and Eve's other offspring were about 6 inches or 15 centimeters in length. Soon the Melbourne Zoo had thousands of Lord Howe Island stick insects. In May 2017, a group of scientists scaled Ball's Pyramid once more to collect another stick insect to join their captive breeding program. This insect was named Vanessa, after the climber who found her. Vanessa's caretakers welcomed her to the zoo with a brand new glass house and a tree lobster cake. This is Dr. Vanessa Wills. By the beginning of 2016, the Melbourne Zoo had hatched 13,000 eggs and sent fertilized eggs to other zoos across the world so that they could start their own captive breeding program. The Bristol Zoo in England, the Toronto Zoo in Canada, and the San Diego Zoo in the United States. The insects have also lived in a captive colony on Lord Howe Island itself since 2009. Today there are tens of thousands of Lord Howe Island stick insects, still sometimes referred to as tree lobsters, in captive breeding programs around the world. The people who care for these amazing insects believe that every creature, no matter how small, deserves a second chance at survival. What lies ahead? Today, scientists' goal is for the Lord Howe Island stick insect to once again live in the wild on Lord Howe Island. But first, the rats must be removed from the island. It is a difficult job, but not impossible. If we get rid of the rodents, we can turn back time. We can almost go back to the moment the Europeans first arrived. Human actions have driven many animals to extinction, not just on Lord Howe Island, but all over the world, including in Africa. North America, the passenger pigeon. In South America, Pinta Island tortoise. Now, thanks to the courageous efforts of a determined group of people, the Lord Howe Island stick insect may escape the same fate.